And it's another edition of the Jersey Cape Podcast. Dennis Brown, your host. Super glad to have you join us today. We're talking about campgrounds today. We're going to check in with Beachcomber Campground as we talk with them about everything they have going on this season and also about camping in general because we have such a great camping facilities down here. So many great campgrounds. It's really a mecca. So we'll get into that as we get a little later in this episode. And also for those people who've never camped before, but maybe they're interested in giving it a try, we'll let you know a little bit more about that. So if you want to jump on into that. Today, we're also going to talk about special events because there are so many great special events that take place throughout the Jersey Cape. And we're going to, hit some highlights from each town. We don't have time to do every single thing from every town. We'd be doing this for hours, but some of the highlights. Now, we did briefly mention the Cape May concert series at one of the first podcasts we did. And we certainly thank everybody who's listened to our first 3 podcasts. This is our 4th. You can subscribe to it on Apple or through Google. So either way, make sure you subscribe so you get into all of the episodes that we have coming up in the future. Now, Cape May, we mentioned their concert series in one of the first ones, as I just said a minute ago. Little Anthony and the Imperials will be kicking them off Thursday, July 5th. Goes all the way to Friday, August 31st with the Spinners. Some Wednesdays in between with some interesting artists. Definitely want to check that out. Also, Cape May has their Independence Day Parade. However, it'll take place, not day parade, it's really the Independence Parade, because it'll be taking place on July 7th. They also have their 7th annual Craft Beer and Crab Festival on August 4th. They also do movie series on the beach. So lots of exciting things taking place in Cape May throughout this year. Now, as we switch over to the Wildwoods, they have some great events taking place starting this weekend with their North Wildwood Italian American Festival and also the New Jersey Truck Invasion, which is new. Kind of runs on the heels of the Jeep invasion that took place last weekend where they had thousands of Jeeps down in the Wildwoods. Now they're doing it with the trucks. And, of course, Cape Express Beach Blast Soccer Weekend. A ton of kids, families down this weekend. It's a stellar weekend in the Wildwoods as far as people coming down because there is so much going on. And then, as the season goes on, they have the Friday night fireworks. Each town does their own concert series. Each one's very distinct in kind of how they do it. Different styles of music. You want to look it up on wildwoodsnj.com to find out all the specific concert-related information as it goes throughout the year. And they have some great events throughout the year. Of course, they'll have the WWE and Harlem Globetrotters returning. So a lot for you to check out in the Wildwoods. They always have an action-packed calendar. They alone, take a couple hours just to kind of dive through all the special events. But this weekend, they have some good stuff. And, of course, July 4th, great fireworks taking place there as well. So one of the places you'll want to be checking out as you make your trip down here to the Jersey Cape. Stone Harbor has done some really cool things. Their farmers market has been really regarded as one of the better ones. That takes place every Sunday. They do Tuesdays at the Tower Concert Series, which is at 95th Street Water Tower Plaza from 7 to 8:30 p.m. with some very cool musicians. The one night they'll take off is the National Night Out on August 7th. That's when all the local police departments hold events in each community, and that pretty much is most communities have their own National Night Out, which is really family friendly. It's a free event on August 7th. They kind of do it. It's a nationwide event, but locally a lot of families come out, free activities, so that's really cool. But as far as Stone Harbor, again, in the 95th Street Water Tower Plaza, they have some really fun music. There's a beer and wine garden and snack stand courtesy of the Stone Harbor Museum. So they have, it's a great community gathering spot. And, of course, they'll do their Independence Day celebration, jazz and blues concert and fireworks on July 2nd from 7:30 p.m. until 9:30 p.m., 95th Street Beach Pavilion. So you can visit Stone Harbor if you're looking for some fireworks, jazz and blues. It's a little bit different with the music also together with the fireworks. So it's a little unique and fun event for you to check out with the whole family. Avalon's always keeping it busy with their special events. Thursdays on the Dune Concert Series, that's always a popular one. It'll kick off next Thursday, June 28th, and that'll be at 5:30 p.m. And the concert starts at 7 with activities at 5:30, and that kind of takes place throughout the summer. Very, very fun, great atmosphere for families. And of course, they do their own great July 4th fireworks display. Theirs will take place on July 4th itself. The Independence Day celebration starts at 6 p.m. at the 30th Street parking lot in Avalon, and then they'll have their fireworks going off at about 8:45. Bay Atlantic Symphony concert also takes place that day at Avalon Community Hall. So it's really a whole day of festivities, and very exciting to check out Avalon for everything going on with July 4th, which is cool because Stone Harbor does theirs on July 2nd. Then Avalon has theirs on July 4th. So you can really make it a week full of celebration, especially because July 4th this year is in the middle of the week. So some people celebrate it before and some people celebrate it after, especially, with trying to get off work and all that stuff with the families. Seattle City's busy. They have their food truck invitational this weekend. That'll be taking place at 63rd and Lannis Avenue in Seattle City. Then on Wednesday next week, they'll have Sarah the Turtle Festival, which will be taking place at Excursion Park. They have their fireworks on July 4th at 9 p.m. And then they'll have the Seattle Baby Parade on July 17th at 6:30 p.m., which is a Tuesday. So number of great events there. And all these websites are listed online. If you check out, like, for example, for Seattle, it's visit sicnj.com. Avalon, Stone Harbor Chamber of Commerce's have some great listings. wildwoodsnj.com. CapeMay.com has a lot of the events, and also various websites down there for Cape May. So, all these towns have their own listings, and you can check out the full calendar of events to really give you a good idea of everything that's kind of going on if you're looking for that specific municipality. Ocean City, we talked about their concert series earlier this year. They have their Antique Auto Show this Saturday as well. Over 300 vintage vehicles at 6th and Asbury Avenue, 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. They have their farmers market starting on June 17th, which is a Wednesday at the Tabernacle Grounds, every Wednesday from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. And then they'll have the OC Con comic book and memorabilia show Thursday through Sunday next week. It's the third year that it's taken place there. So it gives you a little idea of some of the events that are taking place there. And again, we did that whole show on their concert series, so you definitely want to check that out because they have a lot of great acts coming through this year. And the Hooters next week, which is one of the more ones that people always talk about. And, of course, later this summer with the Beach Boys, so you really can't miss that. And then some of the mainland communities are doing a lot of exciting things, too. Lower Township probably is one of the biggest July 4th celebrations. It spans blocks and blocks and blocks along the bayfront there. That'll be on July 3rd. Again, some of these towns doing events on different days besides just July 4th, which is really cool if you want to check out a couple of amazing fireworks displays. You don't have to just pick one town. You can go to various events throughout the week to really celebrate. Lower Township has also done a fabulous job with their concert series this year. They have Amish Outlaws, Sensational Soul Cruisers, The Nerds, a lot of the big names when it comes to cover bands in the area. And they play down at the Cape May Ferry Terminal, which is right there at the end of Lower Township. And beautiful, right on the bay. You can check out the water. They also have a great little restaurant there as well. So a lot of cool things about where Lower Township does their concerts. Upper Township, as we mentioned in one of the previous episodes, is doing their own farmers market this year as well. So a lot of the mainland communities are actually getting involved in some of the special events and have really started to take their game up a level as well. I'm back here on the Jersey Cape podcast. Dennis Brown here with you. We're here with Ken and Tammy Gomez here at Beachcomber Campground. Super excited to be joined by them. First up, we have Tammy. It's been about a year or so since I've been to your property here at Beachcomber, and a ton of great improvements here. I was really admiring. I told you before we started the tiny homes outside there. What a cool little addition to the property here.
Yeah, we stumbled upon them a few years ago on TV, and we thought it would be a great addition here to try to do something new, to have a different way of people camping at our campground. So we bought two last year and bought another four this year. So we have a total of six, and the people love them. They just think it's the best thing ever.
It's really awesome to see. And I've always said, it's, because I've worked with you in the past in another field, the investments you make in the property here have been great. Always looking to do new activities, always looking to see how you can make the guest experience grow. What's the kind of the process as you look at that every year? Because, generally at campgrounds, you have pretty loyal followings, people that come back year after year. But you want to change it up. You want to give them different experiences. So how do you and your staff kind of work on that together?
Well, actually, it starts today for next year. So anything that we're doing right now, we give the customers a comment card, and we ask for their feedback if they like the events, if they have any changes they think we might need to do, and we go ahead and review them. Also, we do a lot of research, magazines, on the internet, coming up with ideas, going to different places and seeing events that are out there. For instance, we came up with Escape the Room here at Beachcomber. So it's a little bit of a different kind of twist on it being a campground, but we have been able to do that here. So we're always kind of looking for different experiences that we can bring home here.
Now, we'll get Ken into the mix here a little bit as well. What's I've always thought really cool, and especially, as I've had a little bit more experience to kind of see, the amount of campgrounds we have here in Cape May County. We really have a real mecca here of camping. And I don't know how close you are or not with some of the other owners of the campgrounds, but there has to be a healthy respect for what we have in this area because, people, it really is a part of a Cape May County vacation that people want to go camping.
Absolutely, Dennis. We don't know as many of the campground owners as we used to. Most of them started as mom and pop type businesses. However, larger corporations have come in and bought quite a few of them locally. So you lose contact, you lose that familiar feeling with the campground owners.
But, still from the standpoint, obviously a ton of people do enjoy the camping experience. As you talk to guests, what kind of stands out to them because you have options, they don't have to go camping. What makes camping, especially down the shore here, so appealing to them, from wide variety of avenues?
Well, Cape May and Wildwood is a fabulous area. It's close driving distance to a lot of the big cities in the Northeast, so we have a good market to draw from. And our philosophy has been to try to bring them down into the county. We try to co-market with other complementary type businesses, local wineries, boat tours, fishing tours, to try to bring our customers spend their dollars out in Cape May County, not just remain here. However, we are full service. We have snack bar, we have a lake, we have several pools, we have all types of rentals from basic campsites up through deluxe park models. And we try to capture a little bit of each one of the camping markets.
What do you think makes Beachcomber, and camping, and you can speak to your specific campground, but, what makes it just unique, that, really kind of stand out for people when they're making a decision on, where to go?
Well, at this point, we are family owned and we operate it that way. My wife, Tammy, and I are always on site. We live above the store, so we're able to interact with a lot of guests all the time. We run a clean facility, and we try to listen to what the guests have to say.
It really is, and I've met your staff before. You have a very friendly staff here, and, like any business owner, doesn't matter what field, they'll tell you, it all starts with your front line. If you don't have good people, you don't have anything. So, I've always had a great experience, with the staff that you have here as well.
Well, thank you, Dennis. We appreciate hearing that.
Now we'll maybe get Tammy back in here for a couple quick questions with the Jersey Cape podcast. People that are listening to this, there's some people that are, avid hardcore campers. They do it every year. It's a part of their life. And then you have some people that might be considering it for a first time. What are your suggestions as somebody who, might be interested in, looking to, get into camping, make it a part of their traditions, especially when they see as many, great campgrounds as we have down here in Cape May County?
Well, the first thing I would do is take a day, drive down, take a look at a few campgrounds. Go on the internet, pick a few out that you might want to visit in the area you want to be. If you want to be close to Wildwood or close to Ocean City or wherever, visit some campgrounds. See what the differences are, that they are offering different activities, different amenities, really get to see the staff, see if they're friendly, if it's clean, go visit the bathhouses, and then pick one. Also, you might want to try a rental instead of just tenting, because then you don't really have to make the investment. As with tenting, it's a step into camping, but usually it's a quick step out and you go into a pop-up or to a trailer is usually what happens. But try a rental, see if you like it. You may love it, you may hate it. But the majority of the time, the people really like it. And the reason being is if they have kids, the kids just love running outside, going to the playground, going swimming. There's like a air of, the old-fashioned neighborhood that you have in camping that you don't have nowadays. And it's a true family bonding experience. You go ahead and you have a bonfire at night, you're with your family, you're having marshmallows, but then the neighbor sees you, they may come over, and interact with you also. So it's very friendly, communal kind of community that you have with camping.
Now, one of the things, especially for a first-time camper that they might not know, what's the cost look like, to get, and you mentioned a little bit about, you can rent as opposed to having to, maybe go buy all your tent equipment the first time. So if you're not sure if camping really is for you, but, if somebody wants to try it for the first time, what is the affordability like, versus maybe staying, in a hotel or something of that nature?
Well, less expensive than most hotels in the area. So it makes it affordable to try, which is really nice. And I guess the other thing I wanted to mention about that is what also makes it affordable is because we have activities on site. It helps with the people not having to go out as often. So it saves them a little bit money there. Yes, they're going to go to the boardwalk. Yes, they're still going to go out to eat, but they don't necessarily have to do it every single time, So that does save the people a little bit of money, which is helpful.
And it gives you something for those kids to do sometimes too.
Yeah. The other philosophy is if you give the kids something to do and they're happy, then the parents can relax and then they have a good vacation.
Absolutely. I've had family who's worked in campgrounds and, obviously I've had the experience to come around yours here, and it's really interesting to see, the bonding that does take place. You meet a ton of people. It's just so different than staying at a motel or hotel. Not that one's necessarily better than, not I just want to say staying in a hotel's bad, but it's just a different and it's an interesting experience, and you meet some really incredible people, and you do have those experiences, and it's kind of a really unique thing to see, and I'm sure you get to experience it as well because you all are out there, like you said, you live here, you're out there with the activities, seeing all that stuff, and you see everybody coming together.
What's really neat also is if you go to Wildwood Beach, Cape May Beach with your family, you're staying locally, not in a campground. It's great. It's wonderful. If you're lucky, you may know somebody from back home that you might see. When you come to a campground, you already have like a common bond if you go to their lake or their pool. So you're more comfortable because already you have a connection because you're staying at the same place. And so you're more freely talk to your neighbors and the people next to you. And you usually find people that are from your hometown. So that's another nice niche that you have, that, a connection.
you mentioned, we talked a little bit at the front with the tiny homes. That seems to be a really cool new direction that has taken place in camping. Has there been anything over the past few years, or anything that you've seen that's kind of taken off that maybe even surprised you a little bit with camping? Because there always seems to be some new trends, new exciting things. Anything to that nature.
Well, years ago, everybody started out in a tent. But then as years gone by, they wanted to have their own air mattress or a real mattress. So they started wanting more amenities that were like their home. So the glamping phase started. So they want to have heat, air conditioning. They want to have, a microwave, coffee maker. They want all the amenities that they have at home, the TV and the DVD player. So it's more comfortable. And it makes it a little easier, I'm going to say, stereotypical for the wife, because she has to usually get everything packed and organized and the bedding and all that kind of stuff together. So it's the way it's going now, it's easier. She doesn't have as much to do, or the family doesn't have as much to do to get ready to come down.
Now, with the camping, you talked about some of the changes that we've seen over the years and all of that, but like for example, yours, and there's still others that are family owned. And when you talk about that touch, and we talked briefly kind of about your employees, but what, as you talk and train your staff, what are some of the important parts that you kind of relay to them? Because customer service, customer experience is so important. How do you kind of relay some of that to them to to deal with tough situations? Because sometimes not everything does go the way, the customer wants. Things can happen, and sometimes it's nobody's fault, just, things do happen. How do you kind of train and work with them to make sure that, the guest experience is to the highest quality possible?
Well, Dennis, great question. We always remind the employees and ourselves that the only reason we are here is to take care of the customer. We want the customer coming back not only to Beachcomber, but Cape May County, to have a good experience here, to enjoy themselves, and to come back. We have multi-generations of families here. We originally dealt with the grandparents in the late 70s. We've got the kids, and now we're beginning to get the grandkids who are coming in camping. I think we actually have one that's 4 generations.
Wow.
But they enjoy the experience. They enjoy the activities. There's so much to do right here that they really don't have to leave if they want to, but everything is so close by, the beach, the boardwalk. Our staff, we do spend a lot of time. We're hands-on managers, owners. We meet constantly to try to put it out there to take care of the customer to the best of our ability.
Now, one last thing before I let you go, because I know you all are busy. It's the busy time of year, and there's a ton of people as I pulled in today, so I know you have a lot to do. But, one of the cool things, and again, from my experience working with you in the past, you really do make an effort as of late to always look for new events. You mentioned even the escape houses a little bit that you were doing here. And I know you've done some runs and all different types of stuff. You look for different events to bring people back, throughout the year, because I know you've looked into the fall and spring and how can we add events, give people better reasons to come back. Talk a little bit about that effort as well, because people traditionally think of the festivals that the towns might put on, street fairs and things of that nature, but to a degree, you guys are doing some of that stuff. You have some of the runs and other and not just the general activities, but like some of these bigger events, which I think are kind of interesting. And, another thing that you deserve a lot of credit for, a lot of give back as well in the community, with a lot of donations, and a lot of these events are kind of tied into that. So if you could talk a little bit about the importance of having those events, to give people reasons, on specific weekends, especially later in the year, to come back.
Well, Dennis, both the spring and the fall has its particular challenges due to weather and other conflicts with families, graduations, school. So that's the times of year that we really try to focus on, larger events to try to bring people down into our area. You mentioned the runs. We've done several different styles, including a large color run a couple years ago that I think you were involved in. And we do a very large Halloween production over several weekends. I think we're up to 4 of them now. Because people just enjoy that. The dressing up, the decorating the campsites. It's really a heck of an event. We try to do things in the spring that'll bring them down. We bring firemen in, police in for a heroes type weekend. We have a Italian festival. We actually bring in farmers market, Ray's Farm down in Cape May, just to give the people something else that's here. We see what does well outside, and we try to bring it here, albeit on a smaller scale, whether it's an escape room or a farmer selling his wares. Wineries, we sell some local wines with Natali Vineyards, and people enjoy it. It gives them something else, something over and above the camping experience.
No, it's really it's definitely very fun, very exciting, and the people that I know, they've had great experiences, and again, when you give back, it's also great as well, because I know you've used some proceeds in the past to, with some of the local organizations. So anything else you want to say out there to people, especially those people who might be on the fence and thinking about camping for the first time?
Well, Dennis, I just wanted to say thanks on behalf of Tammy and I. We appreciate you thinking of us. And first-time campers, we invite them all to try the facility. And again, you can do it basic in a tent. We have teepees now. You may have seen them as you come in. We've got the houses, tiny houses with full bathrooms in it. We even have a large house out there that can accommodate more than one family. So we've got whatever it is the camping public needs. I would like to say one other thing that we've added recently since you've been here is the large water slide. People want to see something different every year they come. 2 years ago we had the water slide. Last year we did the trampoline. Water trampoline. It's on the lake. It's anchored down, and
wow.
The kids and the people love it. It's just we try to give back to put back to the business and come up with ideas and things that attract customers.
Well, it was great talking with both of you, Ken and Tammy. Appreciate it, and best of luck to you this summer. Beachcomber Campground. You definitely want to check them out if you're interested in camping, and we have a ton of great campgrounds down in the county, so definitely want to recommend you check them all out. We'll be back here in a second. We want to thank everybody from Beachcomber coming out today and talking on today's episode. Hope you learned some information about camping. If you aren't maybe a vet, gave you a little bit more about what's going on in the area. And again, we're going to be back every couple weeks with a new episode. You want to subscribe to it on Apple or Google. Stay up to date as far as everything going on with the Jersey Cape. Hope you like the information we're giving you here. We're going to have lots of great interviews throughout the year with a lot of different interesting people in various areas. We'll try to hit a little bit more on the wineries and breweries later in the year. Some of the different towns we're going to have specific interviews for. So hopefully you like the content, and we're going to just try to be as informative as humanly possible for you. So when you're making your vacation decision, you have a good idea of what's going on in the town that you want to visit, or, even better, if you're staying in Cape May, you might decide to drive up to Avalon for the day if there's something going on there, or if you're staying in Ocean City and you hear about something going in Seattle, that kind of stuff. So it gives you something to make a day trip out of. So thanks for everybody listening, and we'll check in with you again on the Jersey Cape Podcast. I've been Dennis Brown.